Will.i.am is a 7-time Grammy Award winner, frontman for the Black-Eyed Peas, and sought-after producer who works with the biggest names in music. He'll be in South Africa in the next month at the BCX Disrupt Summit. But we caught up with him just before, and here's what he has to say about his relationship with money.
So I travel a lot, and I go to different conferences. Like I participate World Economic Forum at Davos, the Bill Gates Summit for goalkeepers, and going down to South Africa is something that I'm, really looking forward to engage and potentially collaborate with other entrepreneurs that make their way to South Africa, locals, people in that continent. I really want to do more work in Africa around technology, innovation, inspiring folks. And my philanthropy is connected to my entrepreneurial work. So going out and figuring out what territories and communities to bring robotic skill sets to and computer science skill sets to, because I believe, you change a community, a city, a country with skill sets that, not only help people fill jobs, but create jobs. Look at Bangalore, India, and Singapore. So I think Africa is on, the next train to be that, source of innovation and invention. So if going to South Africa for this summit is the first step for me to be engaged in that, in this wonderful continent, Africa, that's why I'm really looking forward to this trip.
And Will, in your view, how does disruption benefit the business world?
Disruption, if you're doing business, as usual, what got you to be either you're a copycat and you followed someone who disrupted in the past, but disruption just it's like turning the soil. If you're a farmer, you have to disrupt the soil from the last harvest, right? So the same for business. It just keeps things moving. It keeps society pushing forward. If taxi cabs were racist at one point in time in New York, now Uber has changed that, and they have their set of problems. But getting around New York and congested areas of traffic where taxis wouldn't be able to, if taxis refuse to stop for certain ethnicities, we see less and less of that with Uber. So disruption's needed. Disruption's needed with information. Social platforms like Twitter change how we get the news. So disruption is great, and it's needed in society to, like I said, to improve how we get things done.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that you say that it's needed in society, but what about the argument that disruption almost, divides certain aspects of society in terms of those who can access it and those who don't have access? How would you respond to that particular argument?
That's why you want to disrupt that fact by bringing skill sets to those unlikely candidates. That's why you bring robotics to, you bring robotics to Johannesburg. You bring computer science to Soweto. You bring, AI to Uganda, right? You disrupt the very concept of disruption. To answer the question you just asked, I don't want to see the next Bill Gates come out of, Nigeria. I want to see the next, Steve Jobs come out of the Congo. Why can't we do that?
Mm-hmm. And so, Will, how do you think artificial intelligence will impact us in the future?
I think artificial intelligence will help us live better lives. I'm an optimist. There's two schools of thought. There is this dystopian future where artificial intelligence, is not good for humanity. I think it's going to be great for society. Right? It's going to bring about a transparency. Obviously, there's going to be things that we have to make sure is safe as far as security. Let's say that security and all those issues are solved. why is AI going to be good for us? Right now, as a human, I come in and to existence with an immune system and a nervous system. I don't have a data system. If you're Google, if you're Facebook, data is currency. Why can't data work for me? So data is going to work for me and my community when I have an AI agent that is like my data scientist working for me and making my life richer, making my life, more health. I live a healthier life, and a more informed life for me to make better decisions. There will be no fake news if AI was for me to keep me from having to search for the right stuff. If it could search for the stuff for me. I'm very optimistic about the things that AI is going to do for people in general and communities that they live in.
Well, I want to ask you a question. So that optimism, do you think that it's filtered through to government stakeholders? We see that a lot of private stakeholders are very keen on this entire digital artificial intelligence revolution. But in your experience, have you found that government stakeholders are on board?
That's the reason why I stress the importance of AI and computer science being learned and advanced by people, individuals from Soweto, not governments, just teams of people, individuals from Johannesburg, individuals from the Congo and Nigeria, right? So like Google, they were started by individuals. Twitter was started by an individual, a couple of people. The next big mega companies are going to come from people. And the skill sets are there, right? There's no one keeping you from learning that stuff, except for, very, very poor communities. And that's when NGOs, and there's a lot of them that want to get people up to speed. If we could start protecting a 9-year-old in a village and teaching them computer science and teaching them AI and natural language understanding, natural language processing, natural language generation, so they could start building these tools, right? That's how you're going to change a slum to a thriving city in a short order of time. It isn't going to take 50 years or 60 years like Singapore went from being a struggling country to a booming country. You could do that in a small amount of time. I remember going to Bangalore in 2006. 11 years later, Bangalore is like one of the hubs for technology on the planet. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, if governments around the world are really excited about AI, people and communities that they live in should be as well.
And then, Will, I know that you do a lot of community work and you pride yourself in that. I want to specifically look at the BCX Angel Foundation and the progress that has been done in terms of getting young people more involved into math, science, and technology.
Yeah, so I started about 7 years ago with 60 kids, and we picked, we didn't pick like the best students. We picked kids that were in and out of juvenile hall, kids that were not going to school, in and around gangs and drugs, and we transformed their lives with robotics and engineering, math and science, computer science, and rehabilitating their grades with a program called College Track and FIRST Robotics. Those kids, those original 65 kids, went off to graduate. 100% of them graduated. 70% of them are now going to 4-year colleges with engineering and a computer science and a robotics degree. And now we went from 65 kids to 600 plus kids. So now I'm serving 600 plus kids in 3 different communities across America. And now I want to bring that same, work program, that curriculum, to other countries. And Africa's on my list to do a lot of work in with this curriculum and my partners.
Now, Will, you wear so many hats, from being a musician to being a founder of your own foundation to, your other business ventures. But I think it would be so important for you to tell us about your most valuable money lesson thus far.
My first money lesson was, I remember when I was 17 years old, I told my mom, I'm going to move you out the ghetto and I'm going to buy you a house. And my mom said, Will, don't make promises you can't keep. And I told my mom that, I'm going to do it. Watch, you'll see. By having that drive, the commitment to do something for the person who loves me more than anything in the world, more than life itself, my mom, I know how much she loves me. And because of that, I love my mom so much that core, that seed of take care of my mom, right? I didn't want to rely on wait on anyone to do that. My mom is a single mom. She doesn't have a husband. She still doesn't. I never seen my mom with a man. It's just her and the 4 kids and then the other kids that she adopted, 8 of us. And my whole mission was to take care of her. And I took care of her and moved us out of the ghetto, not just my mom, but my whole entire family. But more importantly, the thing that drives me to do philanthropy, I was a recipient of someone's philanthropic idea. In the ghetto, we got free lunch, we got welfare. So I was taken care of by people with a big heart who thought that it was a human right to give people a hand up. And now that I'm successful, I want to give people a hand up by equipping them with skill sets to do what I did with my parents through music with technology and sciences. So I don't have a money lesson. I have a purpose lesson because money, it comes and goes. Purpose drives you to change communities and gives you the ability to have money. What you do with that money is either you spend it and you become selfish or you use it to drive your purpose even further, right? So money is, you use money to do things that you're either passionate with or sometimes to get caught up in all the evil things that, how money has also plagued the world. Greed. I'm an optimist. I'm a hopeful person. And so I would say purpose drives me, not money.